All right, it is July 8th, Wednesday, July 8th, and we are here for This Fan's View 100th show. Welcome, everybody.
Woo! Congratulations.
All right, and we have Carl, John, Lauren, Anthony, and myself, and we are going to wrap up 19 and move on to number 20. John, what do you got?
Oh, we have a special night tonight, obviously with the 100th show, and everybody's been looking forward to this number 20 as well. So it was nice that it all tied together into this one good show tonight. Hopefully, we have enough time in this hour to go over it all. We got number 19 was Greg the Bull Lazinski ended up winning it, which was good job for Bull. With 243 votes, and Rick McLeish was in second place with 159 votes. So it was a good thing. We had 462 people come out and vote, so that was a nice turnout again by the viewers. So it keeps growing. It's good to see. And this week we got a very interesting battle going here. Between the towns, two favorite guys. You got Mike Schmidt. Well, three. I'm sorry, three.
There we go.
So, we actually five.
What I missed? Wake me up. What I missed?
we missed our other favorite guy, Eric Snow, in the mix. But we got. We got Michael Jack Schmidt with the 12-time All-Star, 80 World Series champion, MVP, 3-time MVP of the league, 10-time Gold Glover. This list goes on forever with this guy. 548 home runs, the greatest third baseman in baseball history, Michael Jack Schmidt. For the Eagles, we have another superstar in Brian Dawkins, Hall of Famer, 9-time Pro Bowler. The all-decade team for the 2000s. He has, he's got.
I love that Brian Brown. The official troublemaker of This Fan's View show.
Well, hopefully everything worked out with this testing today, so hopefully he'll be good to go. He's ready to be fired up today.
Well, apparently he's feeling very well, so he took shot number 1. So there you go.
But Brian Dawkins has two only evers in NFL history for one player. He's got 25 interceptions, 25 sacks, and 25 forced fumbles. No other football player has ever done that. Plus, in one game, he's had the quadfecta, a fumble recovery, an interception, a TD reception, and a sack, all in one game. No other player did that as well. Then we have for the Flyers, Dave Poulin, the captain, 2-time All-Star, a Selke winner in '87. And then we have for the 76ers, we have Eric Snow.
Oh, that's it? That's all you got for Dave?
Well, it's a little bit more than Eric Snow.
Hey.
He was Dave Poulin was a good player here throughout.
I thought it was going to be a good night.
Eric Snow was the all defensive team in 2003, NBA Sportsman of the Year in 2000, sportsmanship. So he plus was with the team that took us. Plus he was with us when we went to the finals against the Lakers.
See, there you go.
So we're leaning in there. And then we have Barry Sanders for the outsider.
Do you get that to write that on the basketball? I was on the team when we went to the finals.
Allen Iverson carried me.
I think he's going to delete us any minute.
It's a good thing I got the controls tonight. But we have Barry Sanders, a 10-time Pro Bowler and MVP of the league in '97, 4-time Russian champion, and Heisman Trophy winner in '88. So we have a good stiff competition tonight with all five candidates. We'll leave it at that. So Mario, who do you have?
All right, this was a tough one for me. My first instinct is to go with Schmidt, of course, but I'm going Dawkins.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Wow.
I'm going Dawkins on this one. I don't know if it's the right one, but it's my gut instinct to go with Dawkins.
There you
So,
go. All right.
And he brought props. That's impressive.
There you go.
He reinforced his decision there. I like that.
I was a
I
little
like
surprised
that.
what was going on with that one.
well,
Yeah, I didn't know if he was gonna wipe sweat off his brow or what that was. But
this is my COVID mask. So,
Oh,
oh.
there you go. That
All
works.
right. You still brought props, so points for the props.
there you go.
Anthony, who do we got?
Mike Schmidt. That's a easy one to make.
Pretty easy, just like next week's. I mean, a little easy too
That's
for you.
definitely easy. Yes. Very easy.
All right, there, Lauren. Let us have it. Who do we got?
I am going with Eric Snow. Might be the only vote he gets, but that's okay. I'm also glad that I don't have to choose between Schmidt and Dawkins because I really don't know who I would go with. Although if I had to choose, I probably would go with Schmidt.
And Grant, he's probably going to end up winning this, but I just had to go Dawkins.
Hey, there's no wrong choice there between Dawkins and Schmidt.
I know.
I mean, it's it's just a personal taste. I mean, it's going out of the box with Snow, but it's okay.
It's not really out of the box. I've been telling you I'm going to vote for him for weeks now. There's nothing new. Come 26, I'm going to vote for Kyle Korver. So I'm just giving you a heads up.
You sure about that?
Yep.
Even over your Miles Sanders?
Yep.
Ooh.
I got history with Kyle. Miles is new. I didn't go to school when Miles was there.
Okay.
I'll bring out the full collection then. I have a bobblehead, a basketball, a jersey. I'll bring out the full Kyle Korver collection for number 26.
There you go. That's gonna be another nice battle, number 26 there. So, all right. So, Carl, who do you have?
Hands down, Mike Schmidt. Not even in. No one else is even in the same category.
There you go. I agree with you. I'm going the same way.
All right.
Schmidt's the man. But it's a tough one. Like you said, Mario, it's tough going. Dawkins is tough. He's the heart, blood, and sweat of the tears of the Eagles there for a while.
Yep.
So it's not a tough one. It is a tough one, and neither one could be wrong. So I'm going Schmidt.
Jack's already starting trouble for number 26.
Yeah. I mean, I figured. Sorry. I'll be the only one that votes for Kyle that night too. It's fine. Fine.
Yeah. I mean, you got Proper, you got Chase Utley as well. 26 is going to be a.
And no, Brian Brown has nothing to do with that. He looks like Ashton Kutcher. It has nothing to do with that.
Oh God.
He might still be on a little bit of medicine right now, Brian Brown. So
It's all right. It's all right. I mean, no doubt, Kyle's a good-looking guy, but not anything to do with that.
Yeah.
Just love my Sixers, especially back then.
Look at Brian Brown. A play on words. It's going to snow tonight. Huh?
God.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
At Brian Brown.
Yep. He's
Not going
he's
hot.
been looking forward to this one for ever since we started this game.
So,
Brian.
based on the two Philadelphia folks that we have, Schmidt and Dawkins tonight, do you think the outsider factors in at all? Or does Barry Sanders not really get his due diligence because, we have two pretty strong Philadelphia candidates?
From the way the numbers have gone throughout the whole 19 matchups so far, yeah, Barry Sanders won't have a shot at all.
Right.
This is probably going to be our highest vote total, I think, because once you have a couple of close candidates like this, the numbers go like we had for 10. The numbers just go through the roof, battling back and forth with each other.
Well,
So
I'll be sure to get my one in for Eric Snow because I'm sure he won't get it.
yeah,
Vote multiple times. That's all.
You can't vote multiple
No,
times.
if you change your vote, it actually changes the vote in the poll.
You can't do that. There's no cheating. There's no cheating in who wore it best.
we fixed that with the new program. We used to be able to do that, but no, not anymore.
Not anymore.
So, but here, tonight's the big show. You and Mario, Carl and Mario started this show, and we're at 100 shows now. So, let you guys take it away. And how do you feel about that?
Did you guys ever think you would sort of get to this point, or was that not really sort of a thought process? It was just, let's see what happens.
I'll let you go first, Carl.
Well, we originally thought we had something going with another individual, and I'll keep him nameless. We had done a couple of really cool shows here at the store, so I thought we were on to something. But then, some things changed, and we just decided to wing it. Let's give it a shot. Let's see what we got. And we, the first shows, were interesting. We had Bay on, former Chubby Dudley, not former, he still is Chubby Dudley. But we talked a lot of things, wrestling, rock and roll music, because Bay's into rock and roll music. Him and Mario, cross-referenced a lot of local bands. So that was some great conversation. Then we had our friend Frank, AKA Santa, and we kind of drifted, to gravy/sauce/food. We were all confused, but we did get samples, which was pretty cool. So, we need to have Bay back on because Bay's now relocated to Nashville and he's back on the show circuit with Totally Driven Sports Radio. So I think we need to get him back on with us. But Mario and I don't know. I think if we were winging it, we did a pretty good job of winging it, and we did a pretty good job of convincing everybody that we had something. And then we added all you guys, and you guys have,
Added
John
so much.
Yeah. John weaseled his way on, you know what I mean? Cause he was ripping Doug Peterson every week. And I just couldn't have that. I couldn't have that. You know what I mean? And I begged you guys to come on the show, and you were always too busy, too this, too that.
You guys, is that us?
Yeah,
Oh.
the two talented, youngins there.
Well,
I always
down
do
to
you guys.
Havertown by 6:30 on a Wednesday is tough for
Right.
us. But this,
Right.
this
Yeah.
Makes it
format works
easier.
well.
Makes
Yeah.
it easier.
Yeah. Mario, I mean, I just gave my 2 cents. I mean, what's yours?
So when we first started this, if you remember, it was going to be as we had time. And I knew after the first show, it's like, yeah, this is going to turn into something that we're going to do every week. Because it was very evident after the first show that we had something going on. And you're right. We did talk about a lot of different things, and it turned into mostly sports because that's what I think we're all passionate about. And that's what a lot of the people that watch the show are passionate about. And to leave Mr. Nameless out of it, I think we're doing 1,000% better without him than we did with him. And I think there's a lot of chemistry between everybody involved. Not just us, just everybody that's involved in the show, and that goes with the fans too. They're chemistry with us. Just adds a lot more to it, and I couldn't be happier.
Did
Yeah,
you guys
I mean,
think when you
Go
first
ahead.
started doing this show that we would eventually sort of take it off, off-site to these remote locations to get, Bernie Perrant, Matt Stairs, Lou Nolan, people like that involved? I mean,
So
No.
we had
That's
talked
pretty big
about
thing.
that when we first started going to Wellahan's after the show to eat. I kind of thought it would have been a good place to have a remote show, and then we got to know the guys there, and due to the connections we had with the Ficos, and it just seemed to work out, and it seemed to work fairly well for a while.
mhm.
So I mean, I think doing that is great.
Sure.
I think it adds a lot, and it gives us a bigger audience because there's people that are there that don't know about the show, so they get to see what's going on. And having the guests on, I'll let Carl answer to that, but that just amps it up 1,000%.
Well, the whole PJ's thing was an interesting thing because, correct me if I'm wrong, we talked, and I guess March Madness was getting ready to set in, and they said we'll talk after the whole March Madness thing, and then it just seemed like it just took off.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we were able to manage having a show there once a month, which I think we gained a lot of, I don't know if popularity is the right word. We just gained a whole lot of fun, getting everybody together, in the same room, drinking beers, talking sports, listening to stories from all of our guests. There's been a lot of pieces here and there along the way. We probably wouldn't have all of this if it hadn't been for COVID-19.
Right.
Am I right with that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, I think this kind of brought us full circle. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense, it gives us the opportunity. I'm in Havertown, Mario, you're in
Clifton.
Springfield, Clifton, John, Levittown, and you guys are in Reading. So it's able to bring all of us together with everybody, that's live tonight, making comments and, wishing us well. And, would I have thought 100 shows? I mean, that's a lot. It's a lot. It's a commitment. I mean, I know we started different things. We were doing the Zoom thing, and then we switched over to StreamYard, and I think that's been a
100% better.
I mean, I think it's been phenomenal for all of us, and John puts a lot of time and energy into a lot of this stuff. We came up with a pretty cool contest.
So Joe asked the furthest areas that we reached out to, and I know a friend of mine lives in Hawaii, and she watches every once in a while. And I know the Ficos were watching from Mexico. I don't know if we have anybody further than that.
Well, you topped it
I
with
don't know.
Hawaii because we have California. We had California. I was going to say we have a couple people out in California that watch.
With Stephanie.
Right.
I'm not sure if Derek from British Columbia, I think he may have been on, once or twice,
Okay.
but I'm not sure if it was from Canada. It could have been when he was at his father's house in Arizona. I'm not 100% sure there.
Let's
But
say
we've
we have
had,
Arizona.
we've had a lot of, we certainly have a lot of regulars.
Right.
And then, we have a lot of people who drop in, when it's convenient to, to chat with us and it's been fun. I look for, I don't know what I would do on Wednesday nights if we said this was our last show. I'd be like, I'd probably go sit in a bar and cry somewhere.
Well, and if you think about it, we have our Florida contingent, which there's a lot of people from Florida that watch the show.
Yeah.
We got Mr. Sheridan, who is half the time in St. Louis and half the time in Alabama. So he watches the show a lot. So we got a good good group of people all over the place.
Or as I call him, Tim Sheridan.
Well, when I first met him, that's what I thought his last name was too, until he corrected me many times.
There you go.
So no, John, you came on board, kind of quasi because, we wanted to fill up the space between the table and you were bashing everybody. And,
you
I
call
was
me fat?
I gotta get you on. I gotta get you on live, and we need to talk about this. And here you are. You're whether you wanted to be a regular or not.
No, I enjoyed it. Like you said, there's nothing better to do on a Wednesday night. It's come and talk sports, and like you said, we're all passionate. I mean, I point out things, and I like to be more positive if there is, but unfortunately, a lot of times we have negative stuff to talk about. All right, there.
It happens.
We got, you got to point it out because we're passionate and we think, we all, obviously everybody thinks that we all can, run a team. We can do this, which we can't, but we think we could always do something better.
Monday morning quarterback.
Well, yeah, of course, and it's one of those things. I mean, but that's what's fun about it. You can talk about it and get other people's opinions, and then we can either influence them and where they can tell us that where we're wrong, and we can understand what we're sports better from a different angle. So it's all fun, and it gives us like you said, gives us something to do and talk about. So
True.
it's
and we convinced Anthony to jump on board with us, who is not a Phillies fan. He's not a Philadelphia fan.
True.
So why don't you get closer in and tell us? Tell. Come on, chat it up.
Don't be shy.
What would
Don't
you like
be
to
shy
know?
tonight.
What do you want to know?
Well, can we sway you over to the Phillies, the Flyers, the Eagles? No. See, why do we have this guy on the show?
He tolerates the Sixers, but I think that's just.
I think he tolerates us.
Well, there's no basketball team in Pittsburgh. That's why.
Well, yeah.
When they get a basketball team, then I'll be out. But
And unless it's the Julius Erving saved Pittsburgh.
yeah.
All right, now
basketball.
Now, to that point, I'm going to ask you guys, if for some reason you had to move to another state or another city, and they asked you to join their team and root for their team, would you, or would you stay true to Philly?
Would I stay true to Philly?
That's for all three of you guys.
Oh,
Well, first-
yeah. I mean, I will always stay true to Philly. I've sort of embraced the Pirates just for Anthony's sake. It also doesn't help that they're never a contender, so that's the day that they're playing the Phillies. I mean, no, I'm not going to root for the Pirates, but I have a couple of Pirates t-shirts, and when we go there, I play the part. But yeah, he enjoys the Penguins, but doesn't, he's not like a diehard fan or anything. So that I'll never get behind. That'll never happen.
I'll have to send you the picture that I took when I was in a bar out there in Pittsburgh. It's something to do with Crosby. I'll send it to you. I won't show it on air though. It was not nice.
So yeah, I mean, I would always be a Philly fan, regardless of where his minor league career takes him or whatever happens. But when I can, sure, I'll support what he likes.
So can we address this Nick Graff comment / whatever it is? We all know who to thank for making it to episode 100. Lauren, he taught how to use all this technology.
Well,
I mean,
How about that?
I'll take the credit, but I can't take all of it because John set up StreamYard. I mean, Dad, you sent it to me, and I clicked on it, and I was like, I don't know what is going on this page right now. I don't know what I'm looking at. And John was like, "Oh, I'll look into it if you want to." And I was like, "Perfect, please look into it and see what you can figure out here." So, I mean, no. John certainly got us off of Zoom and onto this where we don't have any issues with logging on.
You know, it's funny with Zoom, when you have like your own meetings for work, I've never one time had an issue connecting, but suddenly when you wanted to go live on Facebook, there was an issue every time.
Right. Yeah.
That's a Facebook interface thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah, it was strange thing.
I appreciate that, Nick. But no, I mean, I do the best I can. I wish I could devote a little bit more time to it than I can, but my full-time job gets me tied up now and again with things. But we certainly do our best. But John definitely sort of spearheaded this whole effort, and StreamYard and all these backgrounds and these banners at the bottoms that run and all that stuff is honestly John. I have to say that.
Well, thank you. We all do it. We all do it together. I got to send you comments every once in a while. You help me out. like today with the poll on Facebook, changing things up.
Yeah, John doesn't like when Facebook goes new.
No. All dogs like will stay in the one way. There's no change. No change. Once I get shown something, I got to stay in that direction.
Yep.
Can we chat it up just for a minute or two about this Phillies Pirates 133 years and not going to see that this year?
Yeah, it's a shame. It's definitely, not that it would have mattered or counted, but it would have been nice just to have one of these exhibition games.
I just don't understand that. I mean, it's not. You're talking about like 5 hours.
Right.
You know what I mean? The Phillies are going much further than that. The Pirates are going much further than that, and there wasn't an opportunity at all.
That's the
problem
the whole time is that, so they have Pittsburgh in the Central, which is probably, I don't know, I guess you could say either way. Generally, you would think that's better to compete because sometimes the East is a little tougher, but the Central has been very good before. But either way, Pittsburgh is sort of in the East, but not really, but it's also not really in the Central. So they kind of get, screwed, for lack of better words, and you got to go out there and you have to play Cleveland, and you have to play Chicago and these other teams, especially their interleague play that they have to play now. I mean, their schedule is extremely tough. So, I mean, and even before this, people, you see, whether it's in Philadelphia or especially in Pittsburgh, the amount of people, that come and travel from both sides of the state. So maybe it's because they, are having no fans there, so they don't think anyone would care. But I've been saying for years that they should, even if they're not in the same division, you got to figure out a way for them to play more, for revenue itself and for the state itself. I mean, people like to watch that, like they used to watch back in the day.
Right. Kind of like the Mets and the Yankees do. They have their rivalry, playing recently. But, yeah, that whole Central, this year, unfortunately, with the East and the Central not being able to play when you're playing your own divisions. But, like I said, even if it was just an exhibition game, you still should have been able to play that since it's local. They should have been able to do something to be able to make that work.
I mean, they got to figure out a way in general to have those teams in general play more. I mean, you see when the Penguins play the Flyers, I understand they're in the same, but the Pirates and the Phillies could also be that same thing if they really wanted it to be. You could figure out a way.
Yeah.
But, I don't know why they haven't.
Well, there was good rivalry back in the day. And then, they went and how many years has it been, that they changed that? The Pirates, they were in the Phillies division.
Well,
94.
Yeah, the East, I mean.
Was it 94?
Was it like 91, 92, 93? They were.
Yeah, 92, I think it was, right before, because the Braves were in the West for all those years until 93.
Right. So they changed and they, I don't know. I guess because it's not the problem is they're not really close to any of that. You're theoretically close to the Central teams like Cincinnati, but you're not really that far from Philadelphia itself. So even if they don't, even if they're not in the same division, at least find a couple times a year where they could play a little bit more would be nice for the fans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would be. That's for sure. Like I said, because you got the the We Are family in the '70s against the Phillies coming up, and
Oh,
yeah, there was a lot of battles back and forth with both teams there for throughout their whole division. I mean, '93 we won the division against the Pirates. We were out in Pittsburgh when we won the division. So it's a rivalry. Like you said, it needs to be played, but like I said, unfortunately,
But if you think about it, we're lucky we're playing. Period.
yes.
So
Yes.
but just be thankful for that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you got to. We got we had our first inter squad game today, and the Phillies won, so that was good. With Didi Gregorius with the grand slam, and then Bryce Harper hit a home run. I mean, JT Realmuto hit a home run, and coming off the field, Harper's yelling, "Sign the man!" So
yeah. Any more progress on that?
No. It's they're going to wait it out, and we'll see what happens. But hopefully, the more Harper with his T-shirt and stuff, maybe that'll get Middleton to decide, hey, we can't have this as a distraction,
right?
Throughout the year, with everything going on, because let's face it, it's a 60-game schedule, and we all think the Phillies are going to be good this year.
It's going to go quick.
It's going to go quick, but I mean, if you get off to a slow start, or have a week where 2 or 3 guys get the virus,
you're done.
You're done.
Not to be a Debbie Downer, but Joe's saying we're not playing yet, so let's just between the soccer and the other teams. I mean, it's just we're not there yet. Let's hope.
Right.
But we're closer than we were, is what I meant. And I know we're not playing yet.
At this point, I guess you can't, other than maybe baseball, which I could understand that. Other than that, you can't really blame any of the sports. Every sport has a plan, and they are trying. Is it perfect? No. Is the testing perfect? No. Do they have it all down? No. But at least it's not what it was. What we were saying a month or two ago, where there looked like nothing was going to happen and no one was moving, especially baseball. So at least they're trying. So if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But at least it looks like someone made an effort at this point.
Right. That was kind of my point.
Which also leads to the point that, like I said, if the season doesn't happen, you need to get JT signed, because he's going to be a free agent. Say next month if the season is canceled. He's going to be a free agent, and then you're stuck. So now you have the time, at least, that you're able to talk with them, get it done.
I would imagine, even though you haven't seen much, I would imagine that they're close. I feel like when it gets quiet like that is right before something's about to happen. I mean, they know what they have, and they know that they want him. So I'm imagining it's going to get done. They probably also understand they got to get it done before there is a potential cancellation to the season as well, because they can't risk that. So you would imagine that they would have that all figured out theoretically.
Right. Let's hope so. I mean, that's going to be important, because like I said, yes, the reports today with the Astros, I mean, it could be false, but there's going to be a bunch of teams out there that are going to want them.
How much money do they have to spend? With like Harper's contract, how much money do they have enough that they could afford him and still be able to pick up some pitching and stuff that they need?
Well, they're going to lose about $60 million, the Phillies, next year with just losing a couple of players in Jay Bruce and Arrieta's contract, and Robertson is another guy that's coming off the books, and depending on what you're going to do, if Didi's going to sign back, I mean, there's $65 million that's coming off the books. So Harper's money's going to go up, and other people's money is going to go up, but there's money there that they're losing to be under the cap. It's just you got to do what you got to do, and still with that $65 million, there's JT's money and potentially another pitcher maybe, but you're also going to be adding Spencer Howard to the lineup next year, rotation next year. So there's a pitcher that's going to be on the cheap, so that should help the rotation as well. And Alec Boehm's going to be into the lineup, which would be another huge bat. Hopefully playing DH or whatever.
When do they have to pay Hoskins? Because he's still getting like $500,000, I think.
Well, he's under contract for 3 to 4 years with the arbitrations. So, it all depends. I mean, yeah, he's again another cheap guy, and he'll be 30, 31 years old when he's done with his contract with the Phillies. So, it's they're going to end up paying him a little bit, obviously, throughout arbitration if he continues to go the way he is. I mean, he's going to get bumps in the race here and there, but it's not like they have a chance to lose him because it's just going to be an arbitration type of thing. So that's why, like, again, you got to get these. You have probably like a 4 or 5 year window here to really lock up and go for it. So
let me ask you this: what kind of message is Bryce Harper sending? By saying, sign him, wearing the T-shirt, making all that. What kind of message is he sending to management?
Sounds like he wants to win.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
You want the best players on your team so you can win. So I don't. That's the message I get from it, that I want to win. So let's spend some money and win. Right.
Time's now to win. I mean, this is Harper's prime of his career. He's 26, 27 years old.
Right.
Entering into his prime. You got to take advantage of it now. You got Zach Wheeler just here now, added to Nola. Like I said, next year, hopefully, Spencer Howard's going to be here this year, but hopefully, he'll be here again.
And that's money. That's not a lot of money we're talking.
No. Well, no, but I'm saying, but there's going to be 3 guys that you're going to be adding, having a rotation, and then you can still have money to go out and buy another pitcher with the guys that you're losing to end up to having it there, and so you have a solid 4 rotation, and then have Zach Eflin as your 5, which would be nice as well.
Nick Graff brings up players support players. I get that. I understand that, but when's the last time, and maybe we're just seeing it because it's Philadelphia, you saw a player, a Bryce Harper, wearing another player's shirt, making the comments, you know what I mean? That sort of thing. I mean, it's a little unusual.
You have to be a player like Bryce Harper or Joel Embiid or a big name to be able to pull it off. I know he wasn't a big guy here in Philadelphia, but for example, if Sean Rodriguez wore that here, no one's listening to that. Now, in Pittsburgh, they might have, because he was like a huge underdog fan favorite. But in Philadelphia, people are going to say, why is Sean Rodriguez saying anything?
Right.
You have to be Bryce Harper in order to do that. You have to be a Michael Jordan in order to do that.
So do you think Harper is taking it upon himself to become the leader of the team?
Oh, absolutely. He is the leader of the team.
That's kind of what I thought from the beginning.
Yeah.
As soon as he stepped foot in Philly, I kind of thought that's what he wanted. So,
well, of course. I mean, he's the highest paid guy. So even if he wasn't, and it was a little bit harder for him last year to do that, but he did. But it's when you're getting paid that most money, you're going to be the leader of the team, no matter what what you are. That's just the way it is. But to go back to real quick before we get too far with Nick Graff's thing, how did that work out for TO for players supporting players with McNabb? This is just a question. But
the other thing, real quick,
there you go, starting trouble again.
Just before we get off it, like I mentioned last week, I think so Clintack was on the television saying that it would have been much easier a few months ago before COVID. Now, that's probably true because, as I'm well aware of, teams aren't bringing in any money right now. At the same time, that's not really something that the general fan that goes to work every day wants to hear. Right. But that is probably true. If you're not bringing in any revenue, it's hard to spend that much money. I mean, you got to go into the savings account, but you have to be willing to do that, because if they don't, then someone else will.
Well, that's the thing. And it's like you said, it's probably going to be a smart business move on their part, as far as if you just look at business wise, because you might be able to wait it out, and you might be able to get him a little bit cheaper because, like you said, teams are losing money this year. So, maybe if he went out last year, he might have gotten $150 million, just say, for his contract. But maybe this year he's only going to get $130 million as his contract because teams are saying that they're losing money, and that might be all that they go out for. But so you might save yourself $20 million over the life of the contract, and and that's another player here or there or whatever. So as a business wise, it might be smart, but from a player's point, it might be like, hey, listen, what else can I do? I'm the best player in baseball as a catcher, and all that's going to happen for me is I can get hurt this year, and then it's going to make it worse. So I don't think he's that type of player, but some players might be like, hey, well, I'm not going to play this year.
Right.
I'll just sit out with the especially with this loop or the opt out with the virus clause, and be like, hey, I'll just test the waters in September or whenever we can test the water in free agency.
So did Trout decide to play finally?
Nothing's been confirmed. I mean, he's practicing, but the same thing with Zach Wheeler. He's practicing, but once he leaves, he may not be coming back. It's the same thing possibly with Trout. Who knows?
So, sort of speaking of contracts, yesterday or the day before that, I think it was at this point, Patrick Mahomes signed quite an extension to stay in Kansas City. So, Anthony makes the point that, JT isn't getting his contract because of COVID. Well, the owner in Kansas City doesn't seem to be too concerned about, where COVID's going to take them, because he signs them to a $400+ million deal, closer to $500 million over the next 10 years. And Andy Reid had a funny statement to make that as long as he's around, he's not looking at retirement anytime soon. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's the highest paid quarterback in NFL history, correct?
Well, any player sports, the highest contract, right. So your first half $1 billion player. I mean, it's, and it was, I think he gets $140 million guaranteed if he gets hurt. It was like some kind of crazy money as well that, so, yeah, I mean, it's like you said, and it goes back to the whole thing where, a couple of weeks ago, the NFL was saying, if we don't have fans in the stands, we might have to cut the salaries by $80 million. So, and here you're giving Mahomes almost 500, over $500 million. It's, it's, that's why, like I said, with the JT thing, it's like, oh, nobody's going to be paying this year because money's down. Well, there's going to be teams that are going to be out there that are going to do it for top talent in the league, like Mahomes. I mean, that's, right. I just don't know. Like I said, I just don't know how it's going to affect the Chiefs down the line because of taking up that much salary cap. With that one player. So,
well, supposedly, wasn't it spread out that it doesn't strap them, that they're able to sign other guys and keep guys under contract. You know, it's a very team friendly kind of deal. I guess that's the terminology.
Well, I hope so. I mean, but still $40 million a year or whatever is $40 million out of the cap. So, you know, I don't know, how they could spread it out to do that. But, it also goes back to the whole point, like we were talking before, you got to kind of get a quarterback salary cap and not have them part of the whole team cap because, it keeps growing. Right. You know what I mean? But the good thing is it makes Dak Prescott, he wants $1 billion contract now for 19 years for the Cowboys.
Well, the difference between him and Patrick Mahomes is the fact that he's actually delivered on a Super Bowl. So you might want to try that first.
Exactly. or win more than one playoff game.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sort of speaking of sports, the Sixers are headed to Disney tomorrow to essentially start their practice, and then games officially start August 1st, and then hockey also officially starts August 1st, right? So it's a big day for
games. Yeah.
Hopefully for sports.
They go back, what, the 12th, is it? The hockey starts practicing the 12th, I believe it is.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, so next week they're going to go to Canada. The NBA heads down to Disney. So just a matter of hopefully making that happen for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, as we've seen, the MLS, they had a couple of cancellations already. So
Right. Yeah, they were
2 out
starting
of the
today.
5.
It sounds like there was two games, one of which was canceled because quite a few players on that Nashville team had tested positive. And I guess they were without, the necessary players for that. So
now do they call players up to sub in for them because they're going to be out for 2 weeks at least?
Well, obviously not. If they had to postpone the games, they don't have the players to be able to do it. So,
right.
So,
but again, we're stepping out, out of our boundaries here a little bit as far as the soccer, as far as what we got.
Which just doesn't make sense because then their next game is going to be canceled too because it's not going to be 2 weeks from now.
Right.
So,
Well, that ends up probably being, isn't that similar to baseball and these rules? They want to, keep it going no matter what. Yeah, you can. I understand you can bring guys up, but if the majority of your good players are out sick, you're kind of
you're playing with a farm team,
right?
Yeah, and that's that's what we're going to find out. But I mean, a few of the women's soccer teams already they've had to back out and cancel for the season because of too many players getting the virus. So,
right.
And that might be a thing too. You might have the ability to postpone a game, but if you're going to postpone 2 or 3 games, then you might have to just bail out of the league at this point. It's.
And I think that works more for soccer because their games are spread out a little more.
Well,
where you're talking baseball, you're playing pretty much every day.
Right. Oh, yeah. Baseball, you are. So, you got the Phillies are playing 60 games in 65 days. So,
right.
It's
wow.
It's a lot. It's
a
lot
whole
of
season in 2.5 months.
Right.
Not a little over 2 months, actually. Not even 2.5.
Yep. 10 weeks.
That could change the game dramatically in the future.
Right. And like you said, you're missing. Like they're saying, pitchers might lose 6 weeks if they get sick.
Right.
So I mean, that's almost half. Let's say half the season or more.
Right.
So it's that's why it's tough. You got to have a deep team and hope for the best. So.
And then after those 2 weeks are up, after the player, kind of goes through the quarantine, they do have to test negative twice within, what is it, 48 hours, 72 hours, something like that?
I think it's 40. It might be 48.
I think it's 48 because
Kingery's
waiting for his results for his second test. Which
that's what I was. Yeah, that's what I thought. Because he's still in Arizona waiting for his second test to come back.
Right.
They just got to figure out that in order for any of this to happen, they got to figure out this testing properly.
Right.
I mean, you can't have, if they say Mike Trout's out because he's got a positive test, and in actuality he didn't have a positive test, and they're losing playoff games because of that.
Right.
I mean, that's utterly ridiculous. You have to figure it out, and you're not going to have much sympathy from the general public, who thousands and thousands of people every night are waiting in lines to get a test and they can't. So these superstar players get them, and you know what I mean? So, I don't know. You would have thought that would be the one thing you'd have to figure out, and it seems like they still don't really have that figured out.
Well, the very first test that Scott Kingery took, when he knew he pretty much had it because a friend of his that he was working out with got it, came back negative.
That's what I'm saying.
Meanwhile, he's shaking so bad from being cold and having a fever and a headache, and he knew he had it.
Right.
And the test comes back negative.
Yeah, and that's the problem. And as you see, and it's gonna be tough. Because you don't know for the safety for the players and their families. Going back, and that's why I think these next 2 weeks are going to be pretty important for baseball, especially to be able to see what's going to happen as far as being able to get results back. Because Anthony, I mean, you may know a little bit. I don't know if you've heard it, but like I said, what happens if a Mike Trout gets tested positive and it's a false positive? Is he out the whole 2 weeks and then have to pass 2 more tests, which obviously in 2 weeks he'll be able to, but if it was a false positive, but is he going to have to sit out those initial 2 weeks?
I would imagine. I mean, maybe they give you 2 tests just to make sure that the one was accurate, but then you have to be out 2 weeks. So if you find out that it wasn't true and that was a playoff series and that everything's pushed quicker, I mean, 2 weeks is a long time. So, I think Buster Olney the other day, they were asking him, and it's obviously his opinion. I don't know if you guys saw it, but they asked him, some interview asked him if he thought baseball was going to play any games this year. And he said, and he's a huge, obviously, baseball guy.
Right.
He said 5% chance. And he said, what about the chances of getting us to the playoffs and getting through the World Series? And he said, I see that being a 0% chance.
Wow.
And this is from a guy that's how he gets paid. That's what his life is about. So, of course, we want it to happen. But, if you're telling everyone else that they can't go to restaurants, they can't do this and they can't do that, and then expect to be able to pull off 4 of the major sports under small circumstances, I don't know about that.
Right.
But don't you think that after a certain period of time, I mean, assuming these guys aren't like going out to like nightclubs on their days off or anything, but we're seeing all these initial positive tests early on because these guys are coming from different areas. This is the first time they've been around each other. And so if somebody does have it, they're sort of passing it to one another. But after a certain period of time, wouldn't that sort of level out, so to speak? And so, maybe this time between them practicing now for when games actually start is, I guess, maybe a good thing. Because if, we certainly don't want Scott Kingery to get it, but I would much rather him get it last week than, if the Phillies made the playoffs.
Right.
So it's almost like if it's going to happen, let it happen now while they're practicing and getting back in shape and, back as a team again. Kind of get it out of their system and then let the game start, sort of thing.
Well, there's a couple things. First, I mean, you would think that the guys playing in this bubble would be better suited because, we were talking about, they could play golf, they could do this, there's bowling alleys set up, they can do all that stuff.
But they're all coming from different places.
As it goes on, the bubble's probably a better idea.
Right.
But, the other problem with that is not everything, baseball is not in a bubble. You also can't control what everyone's doing at every second of the day.
Right.
I don't know how, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. And that's what makes it hard for being able to make a decision, no matter, which way it goes. Because you're damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Right.
By canceling the season, you'd be like, oh, well, everything's fine now. But, with all these states now, making it mandatory, to wear a mask, or the players going to have to wear masks, playing. And
I mean, yeah, if you're out, if you're in New York and they have strict rules on all that stuff, but then you go to Florida or Arizona or wherever you go and you can do whatever the heck you want and it's out of control, it's very tough to tell guys, from working in this that are 20-something years old, 30 years old, to not go to a restaurant or a bar. I mean, that's almost impossible to do. So, if you don't have a choice when you're in a certain city or state, that's one thing, and you hang out with your other players. But, if you're in Florida or Arizona or California and it's the first time, whatever, you can go out, I don't see the guys just staying home. I mean, you would hope they would, but I don't see that happening.
And the other thing too is you got these travel restrictions. Like people from Florida can't go up to New York, New Jersey area. So how are they going to play games? People from Texas can't travel outside the state to certain states.
And a lot of states are requiring a 2-week quarantine period before you do anything. So,
right.
And I don't know how they're going to monitor all that, and I just think that's pretty much impossible.
But isn't there special work provisions? So
I'm sure they're going to have to. They'll have to do something.
That would probably fall under that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know. In my company, we're still not traveling at all.
I know it's great, and I know we all want to see sports, but would it not be better if we just said at some point, maybe not now, but and maybe this is an audience to ask, but at some point, can we just like make sure we're all safe and ready for 2021 so we could have a normal season and anything? I mean, we're really sort of forcing things that the general public doesn't even feel comfortable doing. So, you know, if Mike Trout doesn't play or Zach Wheeler doesn't play or other big names don't play and it doesn't seem legit in the first place, can't we just everyone get safe and figure out a way we could play in 2021? Maybe I'm in the minority on that, but it just seems like, you know, let's figure it out now, because if we continue not wearing masks and continue not doing what we're doing, we're not going to be able to play next year. So let's just figure it out now.
Unfortunately, that's what they're worried about.
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
Of course. Yeah. I mean, TV contracts are big money.
TV is dictating pretty much everything.
You know,
Well,
and-
especially today when
Right.
you know no one has anywhere to go or anywhere to see it except on TV. So
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
As long as we're able to tailgate at the stadium somewhere, you know, every once in a while, then it'll be okay to go.
Yeah, have we found a private location for our tailgate, or is that to be
your parking
determined?
lot.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. The parking lot. Yeah, we're gonna have to. I'm hoping we can do it down there at the stadium parking lot. I don't know.
Oh, you think I don't think that happens. I don't think they open those parking lots up.
Yeah, they're not going to be open.
No.
Yeah, probably not. But we got to find somewhere.
We
You
can
know,
go to
I
Target
meant
parking
the
lot.
Carl's Cards parking lot.
Well, that's a special day on the 18th of July.
Right. But I
With
mean
customer appreciation there.
I don't see them opening up the parking lots and dealing with all that stuff, because there's no way anybody's actually gonna handle any type of regulations the right way. So.
Maybe you
Right.
can convince like a drive-in theater. That would make a lot of sense.
There you
Well,
go.
Sean had a video or picture of that. That's a great idea. I don't know where the closest drive-in theater is around us, but that would be pretty awesome to do that.
Well, you know, and this will kind of go right into my takeaway, but Darius Rucker is doing a concert. I think it's next weekend, I want to say, with a couple other country guys through Live Nation, and I think it's down in the Nashville area. But it is a drive-in performance type thing. So there's a stage much further away, and the people drive in. They have a parking spot. You pay per car. But then you have like the necessary space around you to get out, set up, do your thing, and then the concert goes on.
Cool.
So I thought that was pretty interesting and kind of really the only way, because you know Live Nation, they don't have anything with all that's happening right now. So I don't know if there's something like that in the works for sports, but it would certainly be interesting if you know they happen and people would be able to do something like that, because I'm certain they would do it. You would just need people to follow the right guidelines.
Right.
So,
Absolutely.
John, what do you got?
My takeaway is I'm just honored here to be on the Hunter show here with you guys, and thanks to Carl and Mario for starting the show up and inviting us in. You guys have taken this thing to new heights from the very beginnings, and you know, let's go for another 100 more, if not more. So.
Tony, what do you got?
Not too much. Congrats, guys. That's a great accomplishment. Other than that, nothing. Stay safe.
Go Pirates.
Go Pirates. I got nothing.
Vote for Eric Snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, vote for Eric Snow. Right. That's right. Dad?
I'm gonna piggyback off of what John said. You know, let's go for another 100. If the first 100 were this much fun, I can only imagine what the next 100 are going to bring, because we've certainly grown. You know, there's a lot to be said about what we do and all the people that join us every week. So, you know, if we can keep this rolling and have this much fun and, you know, get back out on the road, I'm all in. So be safe, and you know, hopefully next week we're still talking positive.
Absolutely.
Okay. So first, again, thank all you guys, everybody watching, everybody here with us. And again, let's go for another 100. And I want to be the first one to. We have a very special birthday on Friday for somebody who has not missed one of the 100 shows that we've done. My mom will be turning 80 on Friday.
Ooh.
Big hand.
So,
Big hand.
Yeah.
Come on, give it up
Good
for
job,
Dolly.
Dolly.
Big hand. Happy birthday.
so
Happy birthday.
I just want to wish her a happy birthday, and she's doing well. So,
Good.
She keeps us in line too. Make sure
Yeah,
we're
she-
on the show on time.
oh, she was saying, she's like, how
Sure.
come you're not on? So, yeah. So that's it, and we will see you next week. I don't know what the date is. My math is
15th.
not that good today. The 15th.
Yep.
Okay. So see you on the 15th on Wednesday, and hopefully we'll be talking about baseball starting soon. So
Sounds good.
For 101.
all right,
For 101.
for 101,
Baseball 101.
you got it. All right,
Thanks, guys.
See you later.
guys.
Bye.